Okay, I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to sew these perfectly the first time. Something's going to happen and I'm going to mess up. That is where your seam ripper comes in. Now, mine is super fancy and I got it this year and I love it so much, but this is what your seam ripper looks like. What you want is the head to be like this. Now, these are super duper sharp and I would be lying if I said I hadn't stabbed myself at least once in my lifetime with it. But there are a few tips and tricks that you want to keep in mind when using a seam ripper. So this one doesn't look messed up. It isn't really, but I'm going to tear it apart just to show you. So there's two major techniques. The first is that you can lay it flat and just kind of come in under the seam. Just very slowly come in and do it piece by piece. This is the technique you use when you are sewing a garment, piece of clothing. Then what you want to do, you can also do is you can do this method when you're quilting, but you need to be very careful while doing it. And you just barely come in here like this and grab it, and then you can very gently, do not rip this. You can go until it doesn't give again, and then you can come in and do this. You want to go slowly because you can easily stab through the fabric and yourself, but you can stab through the fabric and then sometimes you can end up cutting it away and then it makes a big hole in your fabric, and you definitely don't want that. So you notice I'm just going very slowly, very methodically through this process. And it won't take you very long. And you know what? You end up learning more from your mistakes probably than from everything that you do right. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's all good. Nothing in quilting can't be fixed or replaced with new fabric. Trust me. You can always find a way to make something change. If you look through some of my older tutorials, there's a quilt where I decided I didn't like the border fabric and I didn't have enough other fabric, so I created a new square block in the center. So as you can see, I'm going all the way through here. We're almost done. So any questions, you let me know, but let's start. But you shouldn't feel like you can't do this and you can't mess up. And easy peasy, as soon as you get to the end, you're done. And voila. Now, the one last thing I want to mention is see all these little pieces of fabric here? You can just go through. What works really well are lint rollers to pull them out, or you can kind of come back and grab these and pull them off. But you want to make sure they're cleaned up before you move on to restitching it, because otherwise they'll get stuck and then you'll be pulling them out in the quilting process. Okay, great.